Hi guys, I'm back. I'm doing well at this keeping up on YouTube stuff. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a full glam look. Nice and glamorous, there's some shimmer, some smokes, like it's just going to be glamorous. Show you how to go from this to this. I hope that you learned some stuff from this video. It's quite easy. I would say this look is quite simple to do. For a first time it might take a bit of practice, but hopefully with these tips you'll be able to create a glam look. So yeah, I have a lot of spots at the minute. I think I mentioned this in my last video. From when I had COVID, ever since then I've had spots, so I'm blaming COVID. I'm hoping that they won't be sticking around for much longer, but I feel that in this video, as much as it's gross to look at, I'm very sorry, but it might actually be a good thing because it's going to show you guys how to go from this horrible spotty mess to a glamorous, I don't know. So yeah, stick around and watch this video and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to be showing you a whole face because I feel like it's quite important, especially the contouring and the highlighting. That's very glamorous. With full glam it's very different to doing the softer glam, so I think it's important for you to see the difference. So I actually do things a bit differently to most people. I don't know why, I just have my own little way of doing things. It works, so I don't see why it's a problem. Some people start with their eyebrows, some people start with their face, some people start with their, I don't know, whatever. But for me, I start with my eyes. I actually start with curling my eyelashes. So my theory behind this is that if I curl my eyelashes when I already have my eye makeup on, it's gonna like take eyeliner off, it's gonna smudge. Because I wear quite a lot of I wear quite a lot of eye products, so I don't really want that coming off. I don't know if that's just me being really paranoid, but that's just how I do things. Next I'm going to take my P. Louise base, and this is in the shade 0.5. What I do is I put some there. This base has been an absolute game changer. I used to use the what was it, the Urban Decay, I can't remember what it's called now, the Urban Decay eye primer, which was clear, which was great. It stopped the creasing, but you did have to set it with quite a lot of foundation or powder, because it was just, well, clear. And when you've got a tinted one like this, it just shows the colours much better, they sit much better, there's less creasing. I really hope my camera is focusing on me and not my beautiful fairy lights in the background. As much as I love them, I am supposed to be the focus here, guys. So as you can see, it's quite white. Like, I'm very pale, so I had to have a very light one anyway. But a lot of people do tend to go for the lighter one than their skin tone, because it just helps the colours stand out, and it does blend. Like, look, it doesn't look white, it does blend in with my skin tone. It is just very pale. So I'm now going to take my Revolution baking powder. This is in the shade Lace. Put some of that in the lid. It comes with a little lid, so I just put some in there. Eliminate any mess as much as I can. Just making sure that the creases haven't come back. There we go. So I'm going to take some on a brush. This is just a contour brush of some sort. It's a cheap one from Amazon. I'm going to put that all over my lid. This is just setting the base. Just making sure that it's not going to crease. You can use a pressed powder, a loose powder, you could even set it with an eyeshadow. Sometimes I do that, depending on what look I'm going for. For today's video, oh, this is so dirty. I got makeup all over it. I'm going to be using my Morphe X Jacqueline Hill palette volume 2. This is my absolute favourite palette ever. It's just, I can't rave about it enough. It's just perfect. It's been very loved. It's not in very good condition anymore, but you can see all these beautiful shades. Oh, it's just, it's no good if you want to do a blue look, obviously, or green, but it's, I can't get over it. Honestly, I can't get through to you enough, guys, how perfect this is. So I'm actually today doing a pink look. It's going to be pink and purple. I know with full glam sometimes, well, often when I think of full glam, I do think of like gold tones, or even like black browns. But today I'm going to be showing you guys a pink, or like a pink and purple sort of burgundy-ish sort of shades. I don't know, but it's going to be pink and purple. I will probably be doing a video on like a more goldy toned full glam look, but today I'm really feeling the pink, so I'm gonna go with the pink. It is a cut crease as well, so it's basically a pink and purple cut crease with some shimmer. Yeah, so I'm taking this fluffy brush. This is actually the Real Technique setting brush, but I use this for eyeshadow. I'm going to take this shade here. This is called Tipsy Girl, and it's a beautiful bright pink. Oh, it's so bright. It's, oh, the pigments are so good. Like, you just put it there and it's just there. Like, you don't need, you can build it up obviously, but you don't really need to that much. You just have to focus on the blending. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on just above my crease, so you can see like the colour's already there. It's just, maybe if the camera's even picking that up. But yeah, I use this shade quite a lot actually. So I'm just really blending that out towards the brow bone. I'm not going all the way up to the brow bone, but I am going towards that way. I'm trying to stay off the lid if I can. It doesn't matter at all, even if I put it all over the lid, because we're going to be getting rid of it anyway for the cut crease. But why do it, you know what I mean? What if you can just avoid the lid, just avoid the lid. Like, there we go. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. So I'm just doing it in the outer corner as well, just smoking that out a little bit, because we're going to be having that colour there, just like a round. We're not going to be smoking it like out, but we are going to be having almost like a circle. It's like more, I call it a circle. Sometimes I smoke it out, or sometimes I just do it like a round shape. I kind of want to put, I don't want to ruin my camera setup, but put it down a little bit. And now you can't see the pretty lights. No one really cares about the background, right? We don't want to be going right up to the brow, because that's silly. Like, it's just going to look like a block, you know? Like, we just want to be leaving that out, creating some depth. We're going to be putting some highlighter there, so creating that depth. I'm now going to take this P. Louise brush. This is 121. This is P. Louise 121 brush. And I'm going to take this one here. This is quite nice because it's quite a big fluffy brush, but it's nowhere near as fluffy as the one I just used. I'm going to put that where I went with this, but nowhere near as high. So just above the crease, because we are going to be creating that high crease, just to create the illusion of the bigger eyelid space. Continuing onto the outer corner as well, smoking it out and round just a little bit. I'm just going to keep building that until I'm happy with how dark it is, because I do want it quite dark. If you wanted a slightly softer look, then you don't need to build this up. as much. I'm just gonna take this brush again, this setting brush, and I am just gonna go over where we first went with that bright pink. Very, very lightly. I'm not even, like, I'm literally just barely touching the skin here. And I'm just making sure that that is still nice and blended. Making sure I haven't got any of that darker shade there. There we go. That's that. Now, what we're going to do is take, this needs to be a slightly more defined brush. This is the P. Louise. I love the P. Louise brushes. In 124 is a very good, it's fluffy, but it's like much more detailed. It's smaller. You can, you know, cover a much smaller part without going over all the rest. So now I'm going to take this shade here and this shade here. I'm going to actually mix them together. I'm going to go where just above the crease. I know I keep saying that, but this time not at all blending it high. Right, we're literally just going to blend it the smallest amount. This is creating another colour, and it's also creating that crease shade, creating lots of depth. You can see how much more depth that's got already, and carrying on with that outer corner as well. We are going to be blending that a little bit. We do want that line to be much more harsh than the others, much more of like a definite line. So I'm just going to keep building that up till I am happy with it. You can just build it up as much as you want, of course. I'm going to do the other side. You can really see the difference, can't you, with that? That colour has made so much depth. Another thing just to point out is that we are going to be cutting the crease quite high, so, or well, higher than our actual crease, so we do want it to be showing. We need to be making sure that it is high enough to actually see when we do cut the crease. Don't worry about all this that's falling down onto the face, because we're going to be getting rid of that. It doesn't matter how much mess we make all over the face. We're just focusing on the eyes at the moment. I'm going to take that other brush, the 121 from P. Louise, and I'm not going to put any product. I'm literally just going to very, 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 very gently go over all of them two shades, the darker pink and the purple, and I'm just going to blend them, make sure they're nice and blended together. But we do want to make sure that that purple is still harsh enough to sort of see as a definite purple, rather than just all blended together. So I'm just going to reinforce that purple once more. I just wanted to make sure that it is all blended together and not just block colours. That lighter pink that we used first, and just reinforce that colour just a little bit, not a lot, just a really, really small amount. Again, very, very lightly going over that. Just work around the purple like that, so you can see it's made a little bit of a difference there. Also, I forgot to tell you guys the shade names. I showed you. So that lighter pink was Tipsy Girl. The darker one is Dance Party, and the two purples are Stay True and Not My Journey. I quite like these names. They're different. You don't normally see palettes with these sorts of names. I love these colours. You know, I mean, pink's my favourite colour anyway, but pink and purple makeup is just everything. Like, I love it. And that's it for those colours. We are going to be coming back to them later on, just to reinforce them after we've cut the crease. So I have just got rid of some of that fall down because it was annoying me. So I'm going to take this flat brush, and this is again the P. Louise brush, It's 7071 and it's called Devoted to My Base. So clearly this is to be putting the base on, which we are technically doing. So I'm going to take my Purple base that I used earlier for my eyeshadow base, and I'm going to cut the crease with that. You can use concealer if you haven't got this. Again, you know, this is just, it's so much better, it just works so much better. I'm going to take it on this flat brush. I'm just going to cut my crease. I did do a video recently about cut creases and 2 different ways of cutting your crease. So if you want to watch that, that was my last video. I'm just going to go ahead and cover my whole lid with this base, creating that round shape as well. I did mention before in my other cut crease video that you can use a cotton bud just to sort of get rid of some eyeshadow off of the lid if you want to first. I don't really ever do that just because, I don't know, I just don't. But you can if you want to, especially with this sort of look where you've got a lot of darker colours. And what you do is you just take a cotton bud and you just take some, I take micellar water, but you can put some eye makeup remover and you just literally take some of that colour off of the lid. Just making sure that I'm getting that the same on both sides, because you don't want one lid to look like bigger than the other, because it will look very strange, like it will just look weird. Now from here you can do many things, like there are so many roads you could go down from here. However, I am going to do a shimmery lid. You can do a matte lid, you can just set it with some eyeshadow, white, gold, whatever you want, but I'm gonna actually do some shimmer. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this eyeshadow. This is a pigment pot, I suppose. I've got a couple of these are from Bare Minerals, and this is in the shade Nude Beach, I think. Yeah, Nude Beach. I'm gonna just tip some of that into the lid of the product, and I'm gonna take a flat brush, not the one we just used because obviously that's got Purple's base on it, and I'm going to set that with this, because this is very, I mean it's a loose pigment so it's great for setting things with anyway, but it is just like so shimmery. I'm going all over the lid. Now I'm going to go back in to my palette and I'm going to take this shade here. This shade is actually a shimmery shade, so it has got some tones in it. It's got some sort of like pinky undertones. I'm literally just brushing some of that on over the top, just because I want some more of them undertones coming through, because obviously it's pink, you want these pink undertones. Bring it all together. This shade you do have to sweep it on, you can't pat it on because it won't go on, so you do just have to sweep it on. Obviously we are going to be putting in some more of them brighter pigments, the darker pigments. I'm just going to take another flat brush. This is another Purple brush and it is 126. It's a little flat brush. I'm going to start this with taking this colour here. Put that on the outer corner of my eye, on the lid. I'm going to keep this quite sharp at the minute. It needs to be quite harsh. There we go. Now I'm going to take the lighter shade here, the lighter one that we started with, and I'm going to put that in between that colour and the rest of the lid. Now I'm going to just get rid of that product on there. I'm going to just very lightly blend that by tapping it. I'm not sweeping, I'm literally just tapping it into the shimmer shade, so it's a bit more of a gradient. Now I am just going to reinforce that darker pink a little bit and almost blend that into the pink as well, so it's slightly more of a gradient. And then we're going to take the purple, mixing them two together. Pop that right on the outer corner, literally just on the outer corner. Just gone ahead and got rid of all of that. Fall down with some micellar water on a cotton bud pad. Not a cotton bud, God, it took me ages. So now I'm going to take my primer. This is the W7 Prime Magic Primer. This is really nice, it's like silky, it's like a gel. So I'm now going to take my favourite foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. This is in Ivory Rose. This is perfect for me because I have very, 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 very pale skin. And I actually have pink undertones. And you don't see often foundations that fit them requirements. Okay, so I was very lucky when I found this. I'm trying really hard to get this lighting and camera set up right, because I have my new setup. I'm just still trying to get it right. This is my third video in this new setup, and if anyone has any comments or tips or ideas, I would be very, very happy, because obviously I want it to be right for you guys and appealing to look at. This foundation is really good. I would say it's probably like a medium coverage foundation. It's not like a full coverage foundation, but it does definitely, correct that skin tone really nicely. And then I like to use the other end just to go around the little bits that it's a bit harder to get to, like around the eyes and the nose. A bit harder to get to with that bigger end of the sponge. Now I'm going to take some of my concealer. This is the Revolution Pro concealer in C1. This is really good as well because it is very, very light. Just dot it around any sort of blemishes I have as well. So I'm now going to take that the powder again from earlier, the lace, which is what I set my base with, and take that same brush as well. I'm just gonna dab it on my chin, on my smile lines. This just really prevents any creasing, it eliminates those creases. You will probably get some, because it's a loose powder, it will go on your eyeshadow, but we can just get rid of that, sweep it off with an eyeshadow brush, that's fine. I'm going to take a big fluffy brush. This is from Real Techniques, it is a powder brush. Literally just put it all on and make sure it's all sort of blended in, and I just feel like patting it on does just help the coverage a bit more. I feel like it just gives you a bit more coverage. So as I said, I'm just going to take a eyeshadow brush. I'm going to take one of the brushes from earlier, and I'm barely going to touch the skin. I'm literally just getting rid of any powder that has fallen down onto the eye makeup, like that. Done. Now I'm going to do my contouring. So I'm going to take the Revolution HD Pro Sculpt and Contour palette. What I do is I take this big massive fan brush and I just go across all of these browns, like all of the bronzers, and then I'm going to go ahead and pat that on. What I like to do is create that illusion of a nice high cheekbone, so I do just go a little bit higher than my actual that bit. Some people go and draw it on, but I do like to just go a little bit higher, so you can not do that, but that's just what I personally do. I'm just putting that on, I'm packing it on, so I am just, really jabbing it on. And then I like to put it here to create that sort of nice jawline shape. Just a very, very small amount. It makes all the difference. It does. I'm telling you, it does. Now what I like to do is just take this is another fan brush, but it has got no product on it. What I like to do is I just go in circle motions and just blend that in a little bit. I just find that it creates a bit of a softer look with the contour, and I want it to be quite harsh but not too harsh, because otherwise it's going to look very fake. You don't want it to look very fake. Now what I like to do is I take from this palette this shade here, this pinky toned highlighter, and I like to put that just along here, just under where I put that sort of bronzer, just to create that little bit of a sharper line. With full glam, you do want to like really define your face, because you want to look very glamorous, very like defined and beautiful. So I'm just going to go in with that bronzer again. I'm just going with the excess, whatever's left on that brush, and just dabbing some more of that on. Just reinforcing that a tiny bit. Like that. I'm going to use this Laura Geller Blush and Brighten Pink Grapefruit blush. This is a really cute small one. It is quite dark. I mean, on me, because I'm quite pale. I don't know if you've got darker skin, it will just be a blush. I'm going to very lightly go in circular motions. I'm not pushing too hard. Putting that colour back into my face where I want it. That's what I always say with blush. You take away the redness with the foundation and concealer, and then you're putting it back where you want it. That's what I always say, because people are like, why are you putting red on your face when you've just got rid of it? I'm like, but I'm putting it where I actually want it. I think with the blush and the highlight are quite important when it comes to full glam, because it does just really highlight your face and make it very sort of defined and bright, and just really beautiful. Now what I do is take a smaller fan brush. I'm just going to take this Revolution Pro highlight palette. This is in gold. So it's got a really beautiful gold in the middle, then a rose gold, and then like a really light gold. I'm actually going to take the rose gold one, because obviously we're wearing pink. Kind of want to go for like a rosier sort of highlighter. That gives it that little bit of rosy undertone. And then I'm going to take another highlighter. I'm going to take the Snowflake Heart from I Heart Revolution. I'm just going to go over that with that, just to highlight that a bit more, because it is quite dark, that highlighter, but I just wanted it to have that bit of rosy underneath, that undertone. I feel like highlight is very important with full glam makeup, just because it really, to me, like full glam is like highlight, beautiful, bright, glamorous, and I feel like highlighter really helps with that. I'm just putting some above my lip as well, tiny bit on my chin, up my nose, and then mainly on these cheekbones. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of the bronzer from one of these bronzers from the palette. I'm going to take a very precise sort of brush, and I'm just going to go down my nose with it like this, just to define my nose a little bit. Not a lot, especially because I'm pale. I can't really use a lot of it anyway. And then just blend it in a tiny bit, because we don't want any harsh lines. And then just one more time, make sure we reinforce that little bit of highlighter. Highlight is important. For eyeliner, I'm going to use my Max Factor Masterpiece High Precision Liquid Eyeliner Pen. Just going to go ahead and go along my lash line with that. And we're going to wing it out a tiny bit. Just because I feel like when you wing your liner out just a little bit, add a little flick, it does just add that little bit more glam. Just really elongates that eye, makes it super sexy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to go ahead and wing that out a little bit. I'm now going to take a flat brush. I'm going to take this shade here, the shimmery pink undertone shade. I'm going to put that in the corner of my eyes, the inner corner, just to highlight the inner corner of my eyes. And of course that pink undertone really brings it all together. This really creates the illusion of a very nice wide eye, you know, very beautiful shimmery eye. And then what I like to do is just make sure that you haven't sort of gone too far into the eyeshadow, like that. There we go. What I'm going to do is take a flat brush. This is the P. Louise 126, and I'm going to do the lower lash line, or bottom eyeshadow I call it. I'm going to take this shade here, which is the darker pink that we used. Take some on that flat brush. I'm just going to go along the lower lash line. Now I'm actually going to take this darker shade here. I'm not going to smoke it out as much as the other shade. Make it a bit more of a smoky effect. A bit darker. I do like it a bit darker on the bottom. For my brows, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade in ash brown. I'm going to use my Revolution brow brush. I'm just going to brush the hairs up to start with. I'm going to take some of the pomade on my brush, and I'm going to start with the bottom of the brow, and I'm just going to start by drawing a line right across the bottom of the brow. Okay, like that, and then I'm going to go across the top and draw that line. On the bottom we go all the way across, but on the top we're actually leaving a little bit without that line. And then what we do is we just do upward strokes across the eyebrow, brushing those hairs up along the way. We want less product towards the inner section, just making sure we are filling that in a little bit. And then I like to take my clear mascara. This is the Colour Lash by Collection. I just like to brush those hairs up, focusing on the inner section, making sure those hairs stay in place. This also creates a slightly more fluffy brow. So as you can see, I have just created a slightly fluffier brow by just bringing those hairs up. I like my eyebrows to be a little bit thicker because they are quite thin, so I do just try and sort of fluff them up a bit. So I'm just going to put some lashes on and then I will be back. Hi guys, I'm back. So I've just done my lashes and my lower mascara. I've also just brushed my hair out. It is still wet but you know. So for lips you could pretty much do any colour. I would recommend maybe not too bright because the eyes are quite bright. So I'm actually going to go with nude today. I'm going to be using the Revolution Retro Luxe Metallic Lip Kit in Waiting. These are really good. I actually got a set of loads of them for Christmas, and there's loads of different colours and they're really cute. And look how beautiful that is. Look how gorgeous that colour is. Oh, so beautiful. So I'm just going to do that and then I'll be back. So here's the lips. They're kind of like a metallic-y pink nude mixture of all them things. They're really beautiful. What do you think, guys? I love them lips so much. I think they go quite well because they are lighter than the eyes, but they're still glamorous, you know. So yeah, here's the finished look, guys. What do you think? You have to let me know in the comments what you think. I hope all the tips help you, and I hope that you can follow this video and create something really beautiful and make yourself look glamorous. This look again is for probably a special occasion rather than every day, because it's quite a lot of heavy eyeshadow. It's quite bright, quite glamorous. Yeah, so let me know what you think, guys. Thank you so much for watching. and I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you guys. Mwah.